trying to stop this. Good grief. All right. Can everyone hear me okay? Hi, everyone. This is a really, really, really sad story. This happened back. Hi. Hi, Freeside, and hello to everyone else that's here. Freeside's a regular, so I can remember his name easier. Um, let's see. We got Bella Hill, 2573, Jennifer Elliott. Hi, you guys. Bayron's here again, and Sam Gloves is here again. Thank you. Your channel is literally about gloves. Well, mine isn't. Although I wish I had some gloves on right now because my fingers are cold. But then when I turn the heat on, I get hot. This is one of those real soft flannel shirts. Just love it. This is actually my daughter's, and she's let me wear it. Okay, so this is a real sad story, and I just went over it again in my mind. Hi, Martin. And basically, a friend introduced a lady friend in church to this person who seemed okay and with it, right, in the church, and then took a liking to her. And she did something pretty intense to let him know she wasn't interested. I'll read that. And then she still stayed friends with him, which, whatever, I mean, in hindsight, of course, she shouldn't have. The mother lives, but her little, I think the little girl was 5, did not. He basically choked her out and put her in the car, and even told her little girl to jump out of the car when it was going. I mean, it was really intense. And I think they did. My stupid short-term memory. I had a stress-induced heart attack in April, and it's between that and my stroke in 2020, my thalamus. And then getting older. But anyway, I believe they both jumped out. Yeah, they did. They jumped out because he pulled over and put them both back in the car. Um, he left her, no, he left her, the mother, on the side of the road, thinking she was dead, trigger warning, and she wasn't. And she called the authorities, but he took her little 5-year-old and left her in a horrible area of Florida. So that's what happened, and this was, I believe, in 1998. And then in 2017, his conviction didn't get overturned, but he was supposed to get the death penalty. And then in 2017, because it was inhumane or whatever. So, yeah, Sam Gloves, I mean, you can type whatever you want, but I mean, I can't even read every comment. So if you're wanting me to read about gloves, I don't have time. My life is too busy to read about all the gloves that you like. I'm not trying to be rude. Um, I don't necessarily think you're a troll. I don't hardly know what one is. I mean, is a troll someone that likes to just come in and oh, okay, well, he's my #1 fan. Well, that's nice, but like every person that comes in and doesn't really want to be in chat, you can tell, and they want to just get things mixed up with other people in the chat or with the creator. I don't honestly just call a troll. I call it someone that's just maybe bored or lonely or trying to find a place to go and needing some attention. You know, who is that? And that's okay. I'm not mean like a lot of other creators. Hi, Holiday Shelby. Hello. I'm just not. I'm not going to call human beings that are on here trolls, unless they're horrible, putting racist things in chat or trying to get my channel taken down or whatever. But people that just come in and say things that aren't hurtful but are kind of repeatedly the same. Um, like there's a guy named Christian Thomas, and he always says to me, "Do you snore?" Always. It's the only thing he says. Do you snore? And I think I used to answer him. I think I used to say, I have, or sometimes, or my daughter's heard me literally snore through the wall, or I haven't in a while, or you know what I mean? Depends if I have a cold or something. I haven't seen him in a while. Well, it's been a few weeks, or maybe a month. And I want people to come back, and I want every single person in here to feel like they have a place to be for the hour I'm alive or whatever. Yeah, just be respectful in chat, if you can. Not everybody can. I mean, I learned something. Hi, Daniel Berry Sports. I learned something in counseling when I was trying to talk to my daughter's father and trying to be reasonable and say, can you come over 3 days out of the 7 to have dinner with me and your little girl, you know? And he would sleep through it, or he would, whatever he would do. So he put little, I got him some stickers, just some circles. I think there were smiley faces. Now, this was a good 15 years ago. And he put them on his calendar, and that didn't work. And then we found out he didn't even know. He was bipolar, so he was very, so he was very, just not in control of his emotions and really quick to anger and things like that. And hi, Ricardo. So, anyway, yeah, so that didn't work. And then he was starting to, um, say things like, "You're not letting me go to college," when he was enrolled but wasn't getting there. And I was just like, what? You had a baby with me. And in the beginning, he left. He moved back to Oregon. He doesn't even know that I have a channel, so I can talk freely about him. But we haven't been together since my daughter was 5, and he moved to Colorado. Yeah, just simple kind of family things, because he wasn't allowed to live here because he had one little misdemeanor. He got violent with his brother um, before I met him. So, those should have all been red flags, but, I felt kind of sorry for him because he had some brain issues from all his grand mal seizures that he had in life. And so I kind of chalked up his mood and his problems mentally to the grand mal seizures, and bad ones, taking, a shower and getting stuck and almost drowning in between where the water comes out, and then you hit the thing, and your head's caught underneath. He almost drowned. He almost drowned another time when he was fishing at the marina down here, and he had one, and he fell over, and some people saved him in a boat. And so, you know, but anyway, why did I get off on all that? Now I can't even remember. But anyway, this story, um, I don't know how much bang I want. This story is quite sad. This woman met this man at a church, and it just goes to show that just because someone goes to church, right, doesn't mean they're all there, doesn't mean they don't have a record. Um, and he had a record. And I know, and that doesn't make you a bad person either if you have a record. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying before you either get involved with someone or in this story I'm going to read, or you let them take you home a lot, if you don't have a car, you just get too invested in them and they get too invested in you, especially male and female. Be careful. So this was a really sad story, and it's kind of, I mean, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about this on the internet. I used to not believe in the death penalty, um, because there's so many people out there that are on death row that shouldn't be there, right? And there's people championing for them, and there's names of groups and stuff. But when you hear things like this, just the total um, disdain that he had for human life, for this woman and her child, I mean, what on earth, you know? I think he should get it. Because pretty much that little 5-year-old baby girl was tortured. She was alive when he left her there, and what she went through was beyond horrific. So I'm going to read the article so you guys know. Oh my gosh, really? Martin says the last man we hung in England was falsely accused. That's really sad. I mean, that's just really, really sad. I'm seeing if I missed any names in here. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And I appreciate it a lot. I really do. So, yeah, I'm going to get to the story. I kind of thought that song was fitting, or that tune. It sounded kind of organ-like and church-like, but kind of intense too. Thank you. Thank you, Sam Gloves. Oh, thanks, Harold McCrae. Just passing through. Hope you have an amazing day. That's really nice. I hope you do too. Yeah. Okay, so the article I pulled up in here so I could get right to it. Okay, this is the creep, if you ask me. I'm not supposed to show other ads, but yet this is like ridiculous the way it's doing this. Like, when is it gonna end? And then I try to go off it, and good grief. They literally practically make you look at, you know, things. So I will just not show it. But that's the man. and there's an alligator. That's the man um, that did these horrible acts. His name's Harold Brady. Oh my God, Three Dot Dave is in here? Well, Three Dot, you picked a really, well, you didn't pick, you didn't know, but this is it's a pretty depressing story. I've been covering, the fire, the Swiss fire, and then yesterday, Jessica and Jacques um, Moretti, the owners of the bar, where those 40 youngins, aged 14 to 20, perished in a fire. They got arrested. They're in trouble. Period. They need to do something. I hope they don't get away with just paying money. You're listening? Well, thank you. It's good to see you. Three Dot always makes me laugh. I had some ink on my finger here. All right, so I'm going to read this article. Trigger warning again. This article does contain disturbing details about an animal attack. Reader discretion is strongly advised. A Miami jury is reportedly discussing whether to give the death penalty to a Florida man who kidnapped and left a 5-year-old for dead at the hands of alligators in 1998. The convicted felon, named Harold Brady, may be placed on death row after his original sentence was overturned in 2017. According to the Miami Herald, the horrible crime unraveled on November 7, 1998, when Brady met 5-year-old Quatisha Maycock and her mother, Chandel Maycock, at a church group. After she had rejected his romantic advances, Brady resorted to extreme measures and committed a horrific crime. And there's the little girl, Quantisha, poor thing, and that's him, of course, sitting in court. So, in 1998, after the little girl's mother rejected his advances, this beast choked her unconscious. Before kidnapping the child, Brady first choked her mother in a sugarcane field and trapped her in the back of his car trunk. He then abandoned the car at a US 27 highway near the Broward Palm Beach County line. However, the mom reportedly survived and immediately sought out help. However, by the time she came to her senses, Brady had taken off with her daughter. In fear of getting caught, Brady decided to get rid of the little girl, so he dumped her body at Alligator Alley, which, as the name suggests, was notorious for alligators within the water body. Those living close by and fishermen often warned people about the gators at this venue. Shortly after she was left to her fate, fishermen fetched the child's mutilated body littered with bite marks and discovered a bleeding, severed arm. Trigger warning again. Forensic reports confirmed she was attacked by gators and was alive when she was being torn apart. Court documents citing medical findings revealed her official cause of death to be blunt force trauma to her head when she was thrown from the car. So I believe now, after hearing that, the mother said, jump with me or whatever, to to get out of the car, and she tried, but he swerved, and she threw, flew out. As noted by Judge Leonard E. Glick during Brady's 2007 trial. That's just ridiculous. 9 years later, he has a trial, because this happened in 1998. The child truly died a horrible and painful death, alone in the swamp. Judge Glick said adults are supposed to protect children from monsters. They are not supposed to be the monsters themselves. Now, there's a reason I'm reading this today. I'll keep reading. Harold Brady, he's 76 now, is back in a Florida courtroom facing the death penalty for the 1998 kidnapping and death of 5-year-old Quatisha Maycock. Brady was originally sentenced, back then he was sentenced to death 9 years after committing the inhumane crime. However, the verdict was later overturned after a new state law ruled death sentences unconstitutional unless supported by a unanimous jury verdict. And before I forget, I need to read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachings, scholarship, and research. Okay, so years later, the legal drama surrounding Brady continues, with the Miami jury choosing whether or not to impose the death penalty and finally deliver justice to the child. According to People magazine, Brady currently stands guilty of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, attempted first-degree murder, and several other charges. The case came to review once more after Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law in 2023 about the death penalty if the jury reached an 8-4 vote. With this new law, Miami jurors are now strongly pushing for Brady's execution. Okay, that happened 2 years ago. Now here we are. Brady's possible final trial is scheduled for January 5th, 2026. Okay, today's the 9th, right? So 3 days ago, a verdict is set to be delivered sometime later this year. So I looked that up. I typed in, did Harold Brady, get the death penalty? And all it said was this. And now it's saying we'll know at the end of the year. This isn't Brady's first rodeo when it comes to criminal activity. The convict has a long history of violent crimes, including burglary and attempted murder. So I wanted to do this show so that people that maybe see this program from down south or even in Florida or anywhere for that matter, that poor little girl, she needs justice. Her mother needs justice. And it's more than time, right? It's more than time. So, I don't know, if you guys can write your congressman down there or push for this ever, but if you hear about it, if there's anything you can do, that little girl was alive. on the side of the road, trigger warning, and got ripped apart by alligators. Probably in the dark, even, which probably made it even more scary. And she was, thrown from the car, had the blunt force trauma. I mean, one thing after another. It's so sad. So that's my story with that one. Afternoon Delight, you're so funny. Hi Izuku Midori. Am I a Christian? I feel like I am. I had a profound experience when a huge dog was running on one side of the road and crossed over, and I didn't know, until I heard it behind me that it was coming after me. I was walking home from a daycare center that I worked at. Let's see, I think this was in 1994, and I just said, "Oh God, no!" in Jesus' name, like that. And it was walking, and I could hear its breath right here. It's panting like a dog does, and it was walking, and I distinctly remember its tail was between its legs, and it was walking away from me, but I still felt scared. I didn't take off running then, but my clip of walking became a little quicker. Hi, Glacier Shark. Hi there. Thanks, you guys, for being here. Will you hit the like for me? It'd be nice to reach 50 even sometime. It's been a little while. Um, but that was like my burning bush moment, like for real. Now, do I go to church all the time and stuff? No. Did I used to? Yes. I went to MOPS, Mothers of Preschool Children, and made different crafts. And I ended up winning 3 baskets out of 100 women in this room 3 times in a row. I know the third one I gave away to someone. Now I can't remember who, of course, and possibly the second. You hit the like. Thank you. Thanks. That gets my channel out in the algorithms even more. Thanks, you guys. And I am monetized now. I have been for going on the 3rd month. So if anybody ever wants to tip their hostess here in any way, there's a little $ down there, and that would be really appreciated too. And if you want to become a member, it's $3.99 a month. I would have made it $2.99, but I was suggested by YouTube when I was signing up after having a channel for 2.5 years. I waited. I didn't want to monetize, but I kind of am in a situation where I need to be. So why not, right? Where they suggested that amount. They really did. I don't know. Like they said $3.99, so I went with it. But now I'm wishing it was $2.99 or even $1.99. And I went in to change it last night, but my subscribers would boom lose their membership. They would be reimbursed, but I don't want to lose my members. So I'm going to wait, I don't know, another 3 weeks or something and change it then. I think that's what I'll do. I'll wait till the end of this month and then change it to a more inexpensive thing. But you can be a little cat emoji because I have lots of kitties. The mama kitty had 3 kittens a couple years ago. We got the daddy here too. And I used to take care, I used to have guinea pigs. Not a lot, but 2 at once, 2 males. Oh, thanks. Well, my son's door is closed, but he's, yeah, I can raise my voice a little bit. And I had a gosh darn head cold with the constant sneezing and blowing. I did sneeze yesterday a couple of times, but it wasn't like 8 times in a row, like over and over. You feel like your head's gonna explode almost. I almost felt like I wanted to have like the flu instead and just feel a little nauseous and sick, but that's not much better either, you know? Anyway, um, so who's for the death penalty? Put a 1 in chat if you're for it. Or put a 1 in chat if you think this Harold Brady should get the death penalty for what he did. I'll wait and see if anyone partakes. I mean, Martin, you might feel a little different about it, right? Because somebody not guilty was, you know, unalived. I don't know how much we can say about things. I'd have to weigh it, says 3 Dot. Yeah. Well, you heard the story I just read. Don't you guys feel for him choking out the mother? And he thought he killed her, you know, and then she came to and he threw him out of the car and he put her in the trunk and he didn't want a witness, so he kills the little 5-year-old. I mean, and he didn't just like kill her, he leaves her to be. I mean, he knew there were alligators in that area, right? I'm sure he did. And he's lived all this time. 98, that's 27 years? Or no? Yeah, 27 years. So 76, 66, 56. He was 59 when he did these things. 3 Dot. Did you hear about the Swiss fire thing? You know, the Swiss fire thing, the bad fire on New Year's Eve. Did you hear about it? Many people who don't watch the news didn't hear about it, but it was all over, right? Sky News, BBC, CBC. No? Oh my gosh. It was more than one waitress was hoisted up on young men's backs, you know, with their champagne bottles with the sparklers, right? Like this, and then holding them, and it lit the ceiling. And there's video footage of these kids, age 14 to 20, standing around filming it. I mean, because I don't know, they probably thought it was going to go away or someone would come to their rescue and put it out. And they're probably, it's 1:30 in the morning now, so they're probably drunk. Apparently, this bar let in minors. Um, and yeah, and somebody said that bar would let a guy that goes to this place now and then said that they would let minors come in with a backpack and booze that they had bought like at a store because it was too expensive to buy in the bar. And um, and then they would like have that and then order beers. Yep. So and the saddest, worst thing practically is the skinny stairwell from the basement where the fire started, where all this activity, an hour and a half after everyone's all happy bringing in the new year, outside you could see, hundreds of people in this little ski resort town of Crans, Montana. Um, yeah, so 40 people died. I've been watching some of the funerals of the Italians have been aired or streamed um, 2 days ago. And so now the owners have been arrested um, finally for negligence, and they didn't have an inspection done in the last 5 years. They had 3 done in the last did they say 10? 3 inspections in the last 10, but not one in the last 5. So they're in trouble for that. They're in trouble for the ceiling being made out of flammable foam because they wanted, to keep the sound down. They're in trouble for not even using fire retardant on that. They're in trouble for not having a fire extinguisher. One little fire extinguisher down there could have taken care of that if somebody had grabbed it in time, I think. They're in trouble for not only having one exit because apparently they blocked the back door one because they didn't want people sneaking in and whatever, so that was locked. And the glass wasn't glass, it could just be broken. It was plexiglass, so that took a while. People were trying to take chairs, and there's footage of it. It's footage of the fire, and that's what makes it so horrific. And footage inside, and people, screaming, trying to get out. It's horrible. And it's not just 40 people dying, which is bad enough. 119 were flown to burn units. 119. And 50 of those, half of them had to go to a real specialized burn unit where I think they say if it's over 30% or over, you're sent to a real specialized unit. And trigger warning, they have to have that burned skin taken off, scraped off, sloughed off, because if they don't, they can get infection, and the infection can turn into sepsis. So I've been covering a lot of this important, I think, footage, and a lot of other people have. But I tried to cover some different stuff before other people did, like this Paolo banker father was summoned over there by his daughter who was outside, and he, with a crowbar, without a fireman even helping, they didn't even, he never even came back. He said the fireman never came back. He said, well, let me go get something, and he never came back. So this Paolo guy ran to his car, got a crowbar, broke the glass. People were like zombie-like coming out. One gal had a burn all here and on her face. Because you could see it even through the blurred whatever, But he saved about, well, people thought it was 10. He thinks it's about 5, but he saved people. And but he could only be in there until he couldn't breathe himself. He literally went in and was feeling around in the dark, he said. And okay, let me ask you this, 3 Dot, if you're even still listening, and to any of my regulars. You guys remember the station fire in Rhode Island? in 2003 where Great White was singing and the pyrotechnics went right when he came out on stage, which was at, because I've been looking into this lately, at 11:30 p.m. So the bar was closest to the stage, and because there was a news guy there filming about safety in a bar. Not even kidding, because 3 days prior there was a horrible Chicago fire where many died. Oh, hi, Luna. Hi. I see you're still a member. I was able to get into my members. I don't have a lot of members anymore. I don't know if it's the after the month went by. And I'm not trying, it's this isn't like a whining thing. It's just I finally was able to get in and see. Um I'm just going to say it. I have 6. Now, I had 51 because I saw that I had 51, but that was when AK-47 and this lady named Turtle Talk bought me memberships for people, which was so sweet. Playing your game and listening. Hi, ADHD. It's been a while. Thank you. Thank you for saying hi. It's always good to know, that you guys and gals are okay and still out there too. They were all gifted. They were all gifted. But I was hopeful maybe, I mean, not half maybe, but a quarter of them would maybe want to remember, if that's even a word. I know people can't afford things, and I know sometimes this channel isn't people's cup of tea. I get all that. But I have to meet a certain threshold every month to even get anything. So I so appreciate the people that were members and still are. And yeah, I was able to get into my studio and get into customization to see who I still had. Yeah. So right now it's $3.99 a month. That's $4, right? How much would that be a day? Is that 4 cents? I can't even think. 5 times 30 is $1.15. Wait, is it more than that? 30 divided by. Yes, Luna. Now, I was amazed. Okay, I knew she put herself on hospice on this past Monday, right? I thought with the pain and the size of the tumor, she might live a week. That's what I thought. Because my mom lived 2 weeks. Um, my mom just stopped on hospice, but my mom stopped eating and drinking, and I can't believe she lasted 2 weeks. Well, then it got to the point where she couldn't eat or drink because you're in and out of consciousness. I heard Ms. Ann wouldn't eat. Um, so I'm amazed at how quickly she passed. Oh my gosh, there's Mark T. Hi, Mark. Um, but it is sad because I remember her. I saw her. I don't even watch Dolly Vision very much, and I saw her come up on panel um, for one of his panels because I was curious how that was going for him, because I used to be over there. Yeah. And I remember her literally saying, I'm scared. She said that. She said, I'm scared like that. And, you know, Jimmy said, oh, Ms. Ann, you've got this. And I understand, you want to give positive things, but when a tumor is the size of a watermelon impressing on you, I just can't imagine. So the only good thing, like with my mom passing, is they're not suffering anymore, right? Why would he be upset with you? That's just so weird. Why would he be upset with you? I'm waiting for your response on that. Why would he be upset with you? I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. I was a little shocked. I was a little shocked that the days before she passed, there were videos and shorts and all these things made of her literally passed. Who's she's pissed at you? Because she is pissed at you? Who's pissed at you? Um, Even though people say, all right, I'm just going to say this. Even though people say, oh, she would want to see it, know that we love her, and she wants to see these videos where we know she's going to pass soon. Oh, PJ. Well, she's always mad at someone. I'm just going to say it. She is. Oh, wow, you changed your name to Yatu Sabes. Hi, Shannon. Thank you. I know you're still a member too. Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks, you guys. Um, since both of you are in here and you're both members, when I changed the, thank you. I'm so glad we're friends again, Shannon. And I change it to a lower price. If they boom say you're not, you don't have a membership anymore, don't freak out. You're supposed to get reimbursed. I mean, that's what YouTube said in the thing when I read it last night, one other time. I just don't know exactly when the new time started. Like, one person has been a member for 18 days, another couple of people have been for 2 months, another one for 18 days. So if I was good at math, I should be able to pull that right up in my brain of, you know, when it started. And I cannot. I cannot. But I mean, I don't know. Luna, think about how many programs she has that's literally named I'm Gonna Rant. Like, do people ever grow up? Hi, Truth Seeker. Hi. So, I mean, I've had my moments on here, but I also, I never, ever feel like I'm better than anyone else. Um, have more subs than other people, that I have more things than other people. It's not my thinking. I'm not, and you know what's weird? I've never been materialistic. Never. I said this one time before out of the 2.5 years on here. It'll be 3 years in August. I never dated a guy for his money. I never dated a guy for what kind of car he drove or how many he had. I never dated a guy on how much he took me out. Never. Not in high school, not after. I didn't marry Joe because he was in the Air Force or whatever. I mean, he was different. He had cowboy boots on and he was in Vermont. Well, there you go. He was a Seattle boy way back. Um, I just, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't. In all honesty, all right, I'm just going to say this too. I'm actually glad I'm not allowed over there. And I feel this way now. It's taken me months to feel this way. But when you're in chat, if you say one little wrong thing, you're scrutinized, or you could be ostracized for it, or you get reprimanded like you're a child. I can't stand that. I cannot stand that. But it's what she wants to do. There's a lot of people out there that have to be in control of everything and everybody, and that just makes me really sad that she would still be upset with you. I mean, and I watched your live that you did on it. You called it what it was, her rant. I watched it. I didn't know about it. Sierra sent me the thing in my messenger, and I was like, what? But, you know, I don't understand how people can't, why they can't look at the big picture. Why why can't he realize all that you've done for his channel? Luna, you've been up there for, you're literally an OG, like Mab, like Tony, like me, even though I'm not over there anymore. You stopped watching and canceled your memberships. I don't blame you. And he used to be more relaxed. If she wasn't in his life, he wouldn't be pissed at you. It's because she made a big huffy puff about it and did a program on it. And then you stuck up for yourself. So whenever she ruffles her feathers, right, it affects him in some way, because you never know, you guys. She might take all her frustrations out on him. He's the complete opposite. But what I feel like I'm seeing in Jimmy is he's losing his, he tries go with the flow kind of demeanor, but he's with her and he's with her all the time. So I hope to God he's not turning into her. Do you know what I mean? I, you know, 3,000 people were blocked once. It was over a year ago, but it's facts. 3,000. Jimmy didn't know. Gee, I wonder who was blocking and blocking and blocking and blocking. So, it's just not really a fun atmosphere and laid back anymore, I don't think. And I don't miss it, you guys. I don't miss it. She made it sound like you were wanting Jimmy. Threw up in your mouth a little bit. First of all, you've never ever even flirted with him. I don't believe at all. And secondly, you have a boyfriend, I'm pretty sure. Thank you, Truth Seeker. Yeah, I decided to trim my bangs, but not too short. And the razor that was used on my hair makes it sort of frill a little bit, kind of a curly tousled look. Thank you. Now see, she put it to members only, her thing where she went on about you, I guess. So, I'm not going to pay money to listen to her complain about you. But I mean, did she come right out and say that? That you were wanting Jimmy or something? She said herself I wasn't going to be allowed up. She was going to see to it. And you do have a boyfriend. Well, that's okay. She's majorly insecure, and I'm going to say it right here. This may not be nice, but I'm going to say it. Instead of talking and talking and talking and talking about how she's not going to drink all those sugary drinks and, whatever, and try to become more healthier, maybe she should do it. Maybe this is the time to do it. And I say that because if she felt better about herself, she wouldn't maybe be quite so incredibly jealous of every single woman that talks to Jimmy, wants to meet Jimmy, wants to go to these conventions, that's in his chat, that wants to come up on panel. Okay? You have to love yourself first before you can really love anyone else. And I don't believe she does. I don't. Obviously, she's got mother issues, which can be horrible. She just does. She brings it up all the time. She has mother issues. And her mother isn't very kind to her, period. I can't imagine. My mother was always kind to me, always, except that one darn time when I came home intoxicated in my 20s and she said, "You're drunk." And I said, "No, I'm not," like that. I might have said it snotty like. I don't even remember it, but I remember the slap I got in my face, and that was the only time she ever hit me. She just couldn't believe I was back talking her, and she was sick of it. And I was living with her, and I think it was shortly after that I ended up with no choice of my own, being sent to Minnesota. And I see in hindsight to live with my aunt in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I was there a year. And first I lived with my aunt. And then I had a boyfriend that I met at my telemarketing job. And my aunt was pissed about that because I brought him back to the place and she didn't want her little girls, 12 and 5 then, um, to meet some strange guy. And behind her back I did that, and so I had to leave there, and I was living at the Y. And that was the one and only time I've ever seen big Greyhound buses spinning their wheels in snow in a downtown city. I was way up high. On what floor? I don't know. Probably 7 or something. Hi, Bananas. Bananas and Pajamas. What a cute name. Tina, just know I'm always here watching or listening, but I get so busy sometimes I don't get to engage in chat, but I'm here. Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks for letting me know that. Luna, she needs to wear loose clothes. I would. She said herself I wasn't going to be allowed up. Okay, you already said. Cute name for a cute boy. Bananas in pajamas. Um, Man, I don't know. We get so invested in things like different channels on the internet. It's not even Dolly Vision. People get invested in all kinds of stuff. And if the slightest thing happens, it really ruins it. Or if a big thing happens. Um, Thanks, ADHD. Thank you, Barry Carson. Thank you. I'm so sorry, says Bananas in Pajamas. You didn't do anything wrong. You're fine. And even if you said something in chat, unless it's like really, really mean like or racist, I don't care. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, be done over there. That's what I was going to say to you. Okay? When I say be done, don't do what I did for a little while and every now and then peek at the Turtle Games. I'm just going to call it Turtle Games. What is it even called now? Turtle Island. Um, because when you're so used to being a part of somewhere and then you're ostracized and then you're not even allowed to go over there, and I'm going to say it again, it was not Jimmy. It wasn't. We were talking on Messenger and he kept telling me, give it more time, Tina. Give it more time. Always called me Tina, never ever Megan. Yeah, no more videos on her, no nothing. And, I mean, I don't feel that bad for what happened with me and Jimmy, you guys. I don't. Do I lose sleep over it? No. Because she told me to go for it. So I did. Okay? And I'm not even a go for it kind of person. I was just in that time of my life and he acted like he kind of liked me, asking me to be, for gosh sakes, co-host and stuff. And um, I was all shocked by it. So, but she said those words, and um, yeah, and I didn't know about her. He sure as hell didn't tell me. She didn't tell me. She just said it was complicated between her and him. And that's when I said, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Okay, I'm not put out, I'm not on this earth to hurt people or break up relationships or some crap like that. That's just dumb. And also, why would I want to invest my time and my energy and my feelings in a man that already has someone? Okay, one thing I'm not is desperate, and I never have been. You can take that to the bank. So, you know, if people aren't going to be honest with me, okay, and you know who you are, and then other people, and you know who you are, then gee, you know, um, but I feel bad for you, Luna. I feel bad for you. Um, yeah, I heard that panels aren't what they used to be. I did hear that. And it's probably why he doesn't do one every night anymore. And I think for a while there he tried. He said we're going to have panel night and all this, and it just, I mean, no offense, but some people get up there and they just sit there, or they don't know what to say, or they, like, I don't know. I don't know. I enjoyed watching you and Tony and Mab, right? The regular OGs, if you want to call them that, OGs. But the other people that were coming up there and trying to whatever, I don't know. But yeah, it's uh, it's really unfair. But you know what? Honestly, Luna, you should tell yourself this shouldn't surprise you. You know why? Because people are always changing. Okay, when people get more money, they change. And I'm not talking about Jimmy. I'm talking about her. When people get more recognition, they change and actually want more, more, more. And that's why, yeah, yeah, it just can't surprise you because people change. And some people, instead of as they get older, getting more mature, they get more immature. So, hi to the 15 in the. Shaylin and I are watching Survivor again, and we're on episode 30. And it's somewhere in South America. We saw baby raccoons, the holler monkeys, lizards, which they were killing and eating, and I was literally like this, and I even asked Shaylin to turn the volume down, like I cannot handle it. Takes a lot to upset you anymore. Yeah, yeah. My Zoloft helps me with that crap. I mean, like even yesterday when I was doing a live and my son was knocking, I mean, I told him I'm doing a live. I let everyone know, and he still. I mean, it's just, and I just ignored it. But the different thing is when my live was over, I didn't even like remind him or reprimand him and say, "Why'd you do that?" I was live. It like slipped out of my mind. So I'm able to go with the flow. I mean, I hate to think if I wasn't on antidepressant where I'd be because I still had my stress induced heart attack and I still had that thalamic stroke in 2020. And I really did. I did a whole live showing the paperwork, but I've since found out that since all the hundreds of pictures they took of my heart, because she told me that I'm going to take about 100 pictures of your heart. It'll take about a half hour. I'm going to have you lean like this and put your arm under the pillow here, and I was freezing my ass off. It's freezing in there. And I just had that little flimsy cut. It was the kind of cold where I could just feel the tingling up my whole body, like when you're cold like that. And I had to just lay there and do it. But, I mean, I can do that. I've given birth. I can do that. But my left atrium is swollen. Not enlarged, swollen. I don't know what that means. Part of it. So then I'm thinking, okay, am I getting what my mom had? Half of her heart was enlarged by the time she reached her 80s. And she talked to me about this on the phone. She asked if my heart was enlarged, and I said, I don't think so. And she told me that her mom, my grandma, same thing, so it's genetic. Um, but for my age of being 63 and going through what I've gone through, the pumping, the ejection fraction number scares me a little bit. It's 48.8. It's not even 50. And 50 to 60 or 65 is like heart disease, moderate pumping. I mean, thank God it's not 40 to, right? Or 30 to 50. I'd be probably in the hospital. But I was hoping and assuming that it would be 60, 70, or frankly, even 75 again because I had no blockage. And it's not. So it's another reason I absolutely have to keep my stress down. And I will, like with my son, over and over again. He wants things repeated and reassurance with his OCD, and he repeats. And with my money left over on my SSI, I want you to get this much for my Amazon card. I don't want to buy off Amazon anymore. And then he'll tell me that, and then the very next day he feels like he has to tell me again. And I can be in the middle of something, even checking my messenger, my emails, or writing. You guys, I have to have so much patience, but I'll tell you, after 4 or 5 times, not days in a row, we're talking like times in one day, there are times when I lose it. I'm like, I've already told you this. Stop. Stop. You're getting my blood pressure up again. Stop. Kind of deal. So, I can't believe this coffee is still warm in this thing. So that's really sad, and just, let bygones be bygones like you are, Luna. Didn't your mom have heart disease? She had, no, she was totally fine, and then she had about 8 months before she passed away. 6, 7, 8, yeah. She had, first she had the a small little stroke. No, first she had the stress-induced heart attack, and she said it's called the something, not bleeding heart syndrome. What is it called? Whatever, the something heart syndrome. And she was worried about my sister's cancer, and she was worried that I almost lost my finger in the door. She was. Like, I thought she'd be all happy and relieved that it was okay and all this, but it was such a traumatic thing. I knew I needed to tell her. But she was just like, Megan, you better hope it's not more than that next time or something. I was like, yeah, okay, Mom, well, don't worry. I'm not ever going to have any part of my body in the door when I'm arguing with my son again, or he's arguing with me. But, that was added stress. And so, I don't know. But, I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, the heart disease. So she had that. Oh, what is it called? Not bleeding heart syndrome. What is that called, you guys? Anyway, she had that. They sent her home from Mayo Clinic. And then she had a stroke. She had a miniature stroke. So she had the things that I had, but I didn't have my stress-induced heart attack until April after she passed. So we both had a stroke. She has this, because I asked her, I said, what do you mean a little heart attack? Well, what do you mean? How could they send you home the next day? I couldn't understand it. Or maybe it was 2 days later like me. But now I do. I had the exact same thing. So anyway, she did have a little pacemaker thing up here for a while after her I think it was after her stroke, not even her heart thing, but it's probably the other one. Anyway, that's the kind of, yeah, but she didn't know. And she certainly didn't know she had stomach cancer. I mean, when she found that out, at first she was gonna kind of see what would happen, but they must have told her she would need all this chemo and everything, and she knew. I don't want to live my last days sick or weeks or whatever suffering, and I can understand that. She did say to me that she was hoping she could be out on her porch swing, feeling the warmth, right? So it was wintertime in March, that she would make it till spring. And she talked, it sounded like she was pretty sure she would. You know, you don't know how quickly things are going to go until you're on hospice. And it's nice to not get too emotional anymore. I think it's because, well, there's certain music I can't listen to. Like, even after they do the reunions on Survivor, there's this kind of sad song with the drums, and it sounds so far away. And then I think of her far away. I can't hear it. I'm like, Shaylin, you got to turn that off. And she does. But yeah, so the episode we're watching is the one called White Collar, Blue Collar, and No Collar, right? The white collar business executives used to having control group of people, the blue collar, the hard working, digging the ditches, drilling, whatever, right? Postmen, whatever people. And then the no collar are the free spirit, tattooed up, feathers in their hair, going through day to day life vicariously, you know, and refuse to work a 9 to 5 job kind of deal. And that's fine. But it's really interesting to see who wins the challenges. And it's not about judging, it's just different groups of people. So when they have 3 groups like this, it's really quite interesting. And we're in the middle of it. And once again, they've got to slaughter chickens and all this stuff. So thankfully, I have a loving daughter that will go right up past that part, because I can't deal with seeing a live animal and then seeing it dead or knowing it's going to die. I just can't. Even the crabs, when they go around with their spears and they're stabbing the crabs, it just makes me sick. And then and they're like moving, because I looked by accident over the fire. They're still alive. I know there's the food chain, and I know we need to eat. And I didn't eat any chicken for months. I just started having some, like in Alfredo noodles, you know, with broccoli. I had a few pieces of chicken. I think I'm back because we stopped watching it for a good, we got burnt out, I think, on Survivor for a good 2.5 months, where we would watch it every night. And now we're back on it, and now I'm not eating chicken again. So it's been 84 minutes. Thanks everyone for being here. I kind of like doing a live like this earlier in the day, so I'm not as tired in the evening after making supper and dealing with things out there. And but so apparently 3 days ago he had his trial, and why on earth we have to wait to find out if Harold Brady gets the death penalty clear to the end of this year is beyond me. Like, why? I don't get it. Do you guys? Why would it take a whole year for them to decide that? All right, thanks for being here. This is Brewed Awakening with PCT. I got my coffee. I've been wearing just these little tiny diamond earrings. See how small they are? They don't hurt my head. I can sleep in them. They don't press and hurt. I do like to wear a different. Thank you, Yatu Sabers. Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. Well, you know, I never know when I'm going to go live. I don't want to be too depressing on here, but I also have never and never will cover the mainstream. I'm not going to cover every missing person out there that everyone else is covering. That's silly. Thank you, Luna. Thanks, everybody, for the new people, my regulars, just saying hi. Just saying hi. If you can't stay in here, it's really, really sweet. And yeah, um, I bought this for myself. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. Now that's a gaudy ring, but it's the prettiest blue, isn't it? I don't wear it very often, but there's some blue in here. You notice I don't hardly ever wear necklaces. I'm not a necklace person, and I have a lot. I got some for my daughter she never wears. I have all kinds of things. Doves, hearts, stars, just chains, flower, I'm just not really a necklace person because I believe too, if you wear too much jewelry, it can be kind of gaudy. That's just my feeling. But I'm older now. Maybe when you're younger, it's different. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks to the 11 now that are taking pieces of driftwood, like the free-spirited, no-collar two young gals in their 20s did. They took a big flat piece of driftwood and were riding the waves in on episode 30 on Survivor. It was really kind of cute. And out of all the episodes I've seen, nobody's thought of that or done that. I mean, for something to do, you know. And some of the other ones were taking coconuts and throwing them in a basket and doing like basketball. The other free spirit, what did I say? No collar people. One person, she's a state trooper. She's late 30s. She clocked her head coming down so hard on a fence thing. I mean, they didn't cover anything up. It just cut blood down her neck, and he called the paramedics, and good grief, she just decided. He said she could finish the obstacle course, and she's bleeding, so that it would be okay because they have a doctor on standby, and just wrapped her head. And then I think, yeah, she had 6 stitches later on after finishing the obstacle course. I mean, these people, man, maybe in my 20s and even 30s I would have been more kind of tough, but you slow down a little bit the older you get. So anyway, love you guys. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. If this stuff comes up where he should get the penalty, the death penalty, and you hear about it, you can vote for it or put your word in. It's your decision, of course, but I personally think that little girl didn't deserve, well, nobody does, but I'm just saying, what a horrible way to go, to die, to pass. Everyone take care. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Love you guys.